New tonight, a woman in Hanover assaulted outside of a club, and police are looking into if it was ethnically motivated. Two people facing charges already, among them for something that was said in reference, apparently, to the president and his agenda, also known as MAGA. Here is Andrew Klein with more on this.
This is a MAGA town. That's one of the things that these court documents say. A suspect yelled at the victim of an assault outside of a club in Hanover. So today I wanted to find out whether people in Hanover think that statement is true or not. Do you feel like Hanover is a MAGA town?
Yes and no. I want to say half of it is just because of the people. I see the good and bads of this town.
I believe it has roots in that sort of stuff, but I would like to think that we're no longer that type of town anymore. I'd like to think that we've been able to, kind of learn and grow from our past and become a town that is more accepting of all people of all walks of life.
Disorderly conduct, harassment, and ethnic intimidation. The three charges that a pair of York County people face after an assault in Hanover. They allegedly approached a black woman asking her where she was from and her ethnicity. When they learned she was from Baltimore and her dad is Puerto Rican and black, court documents say they attacked her.
If you come from a family here and grew up here, I feel like you would be welcomed here. It's a small town, so newcomers are always felt like outsiders, I feel like, and I don't feel like this town likes newcomers.
Alexis Fizzle, a local bartender, grew up in Hanover and says the local population hasn't always been like this, but there has been a shift.
People are just too much into politics around this town. I don't care who the president is. I just want everybody to get along.
Both of the alleged suspects have a preliminary hearing scheduled for February. In York County, Andrew Klein, CBS 21 News.
We're going to talk about what's going on in Hanover Township right now. Allegedly, a woman was assaulted, called a racial slur, labeling Hanover a MAGA town. Lot to get into here with Andrew Klein, who's been covering this today. Tell us about the circumstances that led up to these allegations.
Yeah, Joel D, it was a group of people at a bar about 5-6 minutes from where I'm standing right now. There were two people inside allegedly. They went up to another person. Now these two white people go up to an alleged black woman. They ask her where she's from and what her ethnicity is, and she tells them she's from Baltimore and her dad is Puerto Rican and black and her mom is Italian. And then they go into allegedly go into kind of an assault mode. They're berating her with different slurs and things like that. And then as you mentioned, they told her this is a MAGA town before allegedly beating her outside of the club.
What kind of injuries did she get?
Facial is what I've read. A lot of lacerations they found to her face. She was trying to cover her face up to avoid some of those hits, and it seemed like she was relatively unable to for the most part.
According to court documents, did somebody break it up, or they just eventually stopped the beatdown?
They allegedly she was being beat for a little while, and then ultimately she ended up being the one who called police later on. Okay,
so MAGA town, I guess we should just tell people, I guess that would designate Make America Great Again or Trump supporters or something like that if that's what's being alleged here. When you bring that possibility up to the locals there, what do they say about it?
Yeah, it was a couple of interesting reactions. I think I spoke to one lady who said, I asked her if she thinks Hanover's a MAGA town. She said yes and no, because she has seen people that are very intolerant of what she called outsiders. She said if you're not from Hanover, it could be tough for people to want to take you in. I also spoke to another gentleman who works at a store just up the street from where I'm standing, and he said he has not witnessed anything like that. So differing opinions from different people that we spoke to today.
A quick search shows me 83% white in Hanover, PA, just as a stat to go with this right here. When did this actually happen, according to the victim?
January 10th is when it happened. That was the date, January 10th.
So sometime this month. What's left here? What are some of the unanswered questions that you still have?
Yeah, I mean, the big unanswered question would be, what what's going to happen down the road, of course. One of the interesting things, one of the charges was an ethnic intimidation charge. We did go over to the police station earlier. That was one of the things I would have wanted to ask a little bit more about, how they decided that was going to be, officially one of the charges. But I think overall, the biggest question I would have would be what kind of comes next out of this, and what would more people feel like in Hanover, because we only spoke to a couple of people today. I would want to know what more general population would think, just kind of hearing that statement of this is a MAGA town. Do more people agree? Do fewer people agree? Is kind of the big thing that I would want.
And also, would they admit it on the air to somebody? You know what I mean? So that's the other piece of this,
right,
where they feel that way or not. So interesting stuff. Thanks for catching us up on that one.
And do they feel like that's a problem if they do feel that way?
Yeah. Either way, interesting stuff. We'll keep an eye on it. Thanks, Andrew.